Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own.
People have got such a stereotyped vision about Billie Holiday that she was just this melancholy person and you know, this just strung out drug addict, and she wasn't that all the time. She knew what she wanted.
They just don't make the grade, Mama.
Well, I had a very interesting challenge, which is to preserve and present what has already been tried and found to work, which is Billie's music. Everybody loves that music. But Billie will tell you, she'll be the first to tell you that she never sang the same song the same way twice. If she were here today, she would say that. Because we have a great talent in Dee Dee Bridgewater, it kind of lends itself to, in our minds, we're going to do this in a way where if Billie were alive today, this is how she would do it.
But God bless the child that's got his own. Oh,
maybe she did not achieve what we today call stardom or superstardom. It's understandable. It's a different world and a different time. But if you look at the Rolling Stones or the Beatles or Frank Sinatra or any of the greats, they will attribute basically most of their basic learning knowledge to Billie. They'll tell you that Billie was really how they learned to sing.
who do you think is coming to town? You'll never guess who. A lovable, huggable Emily Brown. Miss Brown to you. Your blood, 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 blood. Your blood, 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 blood. You don't have to have a hanker to be a broker or a banker. No sirree, just simply be my mother's son-in-law.
Part of the reason why I have always wanted to revisit Lady Day and Billie Holiday is because when I did the play in London, she possessed me, truly. I could feel her spirit come into me before I would make my first step onto the stage, and it got so bad. Slowly, because I'm a good imitator, so slowly her voice took over. So I started talking like this, you know, and it was just, and everything was, you know, I was really Billie. And I got fan mail addressed to Billie Holiday. I have been looking forward to this where I can really invest in her personality, but she will share my body. I will allow her to share. I had found a way to portray her where I really felt that I was giving justice to who she was and at the same time maintaining my personal acting integrity.
So can't you see you've got to be my mother's son-in-law? Come on.
Stephen Stahl has really written an outstanding play here. It portrays the real grit of Billie Holiday's life, her existence. Much of it is filled with sorrow and tragedy, but the way in which he's done it takes Billie from a place of heartfelt sorrow to a place of incredible humor. She rises above through her own humor, through her ability to look back on her life, minimize the hard times, and find real deep enjoyment in what she's doing and where she's attempting to go.
I believe that Billie Holiday's life is relatable to almost anyone. I know that for me, I was able to relate to her ups and her downs, and her triumphs as well as her failures. Failure for me was failure as well as success was always a thing of fear. There was always fear around success and always fear around failure, which I was able to relate to in Billie's life. At least that's my interpretation of what I saw. I also saw a very strong human being who was not weak. If people look at Billie and think that she was weak because of any problems she might have had, the truth of the matter is that I see Billie as a very, very strong, independent person who had to fight for everything that she wanted. And when someone can love as much as Billie loved, that's strength. And she would keep going back and keep fighting and keep giving out that love and struggling for what she thought was fair, not only in her music, but in her life as well.
In the southern breeze,
strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
I was told stories. I've met a lot of musicians who worked with her, and they told me stories about Billie and stories about when they were on the road and how she cursed like a sailor and how she loved to joke. She had a very, very dry, wry sense of humor. And so all of that I was able to use and invest in my portrayal of Billie Holiday. It's going to be a challenge to come back and do her, but a good challenge.
The transformative part comes from, I believe, her ability to not take herself quite as seriously and rise above that which she's come from. And that leads to a very triumphant ending. It shows Billie at her best.
The show runs on highs and lows. Act 1 is the rehearsal for a concert that is happening that evening. Billie is playing a theater, and she doesn't want to play theaters. She wants to go back into the cabaret where she's comfortable. She can't do it. She can't play America, especially in New York. She doesn't have a cabaret card, which she lost because of drugs. In my opinion, very unfair, but that was the times. And she's in Europe. She's booked into a hall or a theater that is way too big. It's 1,000-seat theaters. She comes in and she has a great deal of fear about playing a room that big. She does not want to rehearse. Her musicians help her. She becomes comfortable and she rehearses. Act 2 is the concert. She struggles through Act 2 to win, and she wins triumphantly at the end. She comes out a winner, which to me Billie Holiday is and was and will always be a winner.
The list of the songs in the show is Billie's greatest hits. Of course, there's Strange Fruit, which of course we have an incredible arrangement of that, which is really just, from the time we first did it, it still stays with me. It's really, just with everything put together with the musically and acting-wise, it really is just one of those arrangements that's really, really cool.
I like to think of it as the petals falling off of a rose. This rose has bloomed, and little by little, the petals start to fall off, and so little by little in the show, she starts to lose herself, and then she pulls herself together at the end to say, I'm pulling through. I will use some of her phrasing. I will hint at some of her phrasing, but she tells stories, and I like telling stories. So I will try and tell my story, or tell Billie's story through those choices of songs that she had.
Every night that I saw Dee Dee do this, my mouth was just like wide open, because for her to do this, she almost has to go completely to the wall. Musically, theatrically, emotionally.
I'm going to do the best that I can to have a successful run and to give audiences a wonderful theatrical experience and to have them go away with a very full image of who Billie was.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I wanna lose them. Then take my arms, I never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. I wanna know.
Dee Dee brings her entire life into this. So when you can relate to the character, to any character, or in this case the character of Billie, through your own life experiences, you bring your own truth into it, and it works.
What magic of love, so please take all of me.
That's the good, the bad, the ugly.